Come on, let's go. All right.
British General Burgoyne leads a force south from Canada, while British Colonel St. Ledger approaches with another from the west. If the British take Albany, they will assume control of the Hudson River and cut off New England from the rest of the colonies. General Gates of the Continental Army fortifies his position just north of the town and awaits the oncoming assault. This is a battle the Americans cannot afford to lose.
Come on, Ivan.
Concerts are hosted all over town, led by public announcers. In taverns, men engage in lively debates as to just what it means to be a good. News of the document travels on dusty roads and warped ships. It is spread
Come on.
word of mouth with letters and newspapers.
That's cool.
Guides say there are open wood, free swamps on their flanks, and broad rivers in their rear.
That's really cool.
They are formed in 3 lines with the militia in the front. Bring over your weapons and ammunition. Came off a thunderstorm. They gained our flank. We have retreated in good order. Our forces volley. We must push our advantage. We cannot give them the opportunity to rally. Charge bayonets!
Rushing over the unexpected volley of musketry has broken our ranks.
The reaction of the colonists is explosive. If you comply with the act, you live in perpetual shame and a happy country. To receive that as death is worse than death. It is slavery. Members of the British Parliament dismiss the protest.
What are these pens for?
Too loud. Stay in the shade, okay?
What are those guys doing? What are they doing, Dad?
Musket into a perfect weapon. Of course, it has advantages and has disadvantages. Now, I want you to shift your attention to the gun barrel. To be very specific, those soldiers in the American Revolution were carrying some type of a smooth-bore flintlock musket as their main weapon. When I say smooth-bore, bore
Towards
is
him.
the hole in the gun barrel where the powder is shot. If it's a smooth bore, that means the inside of this gun barrel looks a lot like the outside. Pretty much a big steel pipe here on top of the stock. You've got a smooth bore weapon. You have the advantage of having a weapon that you can load and fire quickly. Disadvantage of having a weapon with limited accuracy. The effective range of the musket was only about 100 yards. But your average European soldier is expected to average 3 to 4 rounds per minute on the battlefield. Very rapid rate of fire for the 18th century. Trying to move a lot of material down range as quickly as possible. You can do that in the musket. So, you've got a fast firing weapon that's not very accurate. If you look at this from General Washington's perspective, most of my army holding smooth bore weapons, That means we're not going to do a very effective job at shooting the enemy to pieces. But we're not going to stand out there and shoot away at the enemy all day. You don't see a whole lot of long, drawn-out firefights during the Revolution. You see a whole lot of bayonet charges. My main goal in combat is to control and dominate space. We're not going to stand a good chance of trying to stand out there and shoot at you all day and try to cut you to pieces. But what we can do is control that battlefield. We can take ground from you. We can push you off the field. We can make you go where we want you to go, put you off your strategy. If we're lucky, maybe we can put the enemy into a compromised position. Which is exactly what happened to Lord Cornwallis here at Yorktown. Now, his army wasn't shot to pieces. His army was trapped. It was slowly being whittled down to the point where he surrendered, and all of a sudden, 6,000 or so British soldiers are no longer part of the equation. So, let's focus on controlling space, giving the enemy any and all reason to turn around and go somewhere else. This is the biggest advantage of Musket. The fact that it came with a bayonet, and you're looking for any excuse to charge bayonets. Here we are. Now, General Washington wants his army to perform just like a European field army. If the British can average 3 to 4 rounds per minute, Continentals need to average 3 to 4 rounds per minute. They developed their own version of the manual exercise. It includes a series of 12 steps when it comes to loading and firing a flintlock musket. So I'll demonstrate part of the manual exercise for you. I do use gunpowder during the next part of the demonstration. That's why I'm putting these here close. You folks, I'll let y'all know when the loud part's about to happen, so you have a chance to cover your ears as well. I don't use any bullets, no live rounds, nothing of that sort. You folks are in a good position where you are. I'm going to take a few steps back.
Ready?
So, working from the shoulder position here, weapons not loaded. First things first, we got to move the weapon into a position where we can start to load it. So, soldier poise the weapon in front of him, bring it to what's called the prime position, right here, kind of at chest height. 12 steps from start to finish. The first step makes the rest of this a lot safer. Step number 1, half-cock fire lock. Right there. Notice the weapon in the half-cock position. If I pull the trigger, nothing's happening. Today you might call that safety, right? Safety on first. Maybe you remember the old phrase,
Go sit down.
you don't go off half-cocked. Right? Safety is on. So here we go. Step 2, handle cartridge. What's in there? Powder and shot can be wrapped up in this piece of newspaper here. The soldier's instructed to bite the cartridge open, and some of that powder is going to go into the pan for step 3, which is the command to prime. About a teaspoon worth of powder goes in the pan. When the flint and steel get together, I want my sparks to go there. Step 4, shut pan. Keep that powder where it is as we cast the weapon about. A musket is a muzzle loader. That load at the top right here. Step number 5, charge with cartridge. Everything else goes into the musket barrel. Gravity's going to do a lot of the work here. We still need to make
Almost
sure
done,
that charge is seated and compressed near that vent hole. So out comes what the British would call the rammer. Step 6, withdraw rammer. Step 7, ram down the cartridge. Step 8, do not drop the rammer. Step 8, turn the rammer. Step up there. And step 9, you shoulder your fire lock. And when you shoulder your fire lock, you're letting everybody know that you're loaded. Now what you just saw me do would normally be done by a whole bunch of soldiers at the same time. Yeah, they understand the limitations of the musket. It had a limited effective range, out to only about 100 yards. So to compensate for that, we're going to fire a bunch of them at the same time. You see the development of what they call the linear formations. Group those men up, standing shoulder to shoulder. We're going to all walk out there in one big line, and we're all going to fire together. We're going to try to amass firepower, and we're going to try to achieve accuracy by volume. Normally, it's a whole line of soldiers loading and firing together as one. From the shoulder, the officer can order his line to fire by calling out the last 3 commands. Steps 10, 11, and 12. Make ready, take aim, and fire. That's what I'm going to go ahead and do, folks. So if you want to cover your ears, now is the time. I'm going to try to discharge the weapon. Right, ready.
1, 2.
Take aim. Fire. Sometimes you do everything correctly, and the weapon misfires. Another big reason why I'm not out there by myself. I'm standing in a line. Right? I'm one of one, and I misfire. Does the enemy know? If I'm one of 100 and I misfire, does the enemy know? So these weapons are not foolproof. Misfires do happen for whatever reason. Sparks did not find the powder in the pan. The powder's still there. Sparks didn't just land where I wanted them. Now, if I were out there on the battlefield, I could recock and fire in a fraction of a second. Just want to pause and let you folks know that that was a misfire, and sometimes it does happen. So I'm going back up to the shoulder. If you folks want to cover your ears, we'll try to go through the last 3 commands again. Make ready. Take aim. Fire.
Wow.
Gosh.
All right. Okay, you might go through that process a few times, especially early in the
So how's that sound? Yeah. So we will be loading this weapon up and firing it for you after I explain a few things. But folks, just so you're aware, we are not about to fire a live cannonball on the parkway. Sometimes people are worried about our friends over there on the parkway. No, we're not going to do that because the U.S. Navy is on the other side of the parkway. They have a tendency to win fights, and I don't want to do that this afternoon. But folks, if I were to ask everybody here to describe this weapon on that blue carriage with a single word, what would you call this weapon? And I swear I am not trying to trick anybody here, folks. What do you call this?
A cannon.
A cannon, yes, absolutely. You can call that a cannon. In the 18th century, American artillery would have been using that word as well. We had a very light 6-pound brass battalion gun, or a light 6-pound battalion gun, or just a light field gun. Now, that title tells you pretty much everything you need to know about this weapon back here. Now, we're going to start with what I think would be the most confusing portion of this weapon's title. That would be the word light. Now, folks, if I'm calling that piece of artillery light, that means one of 2 things. Either I am way stronger than I look, or there are heavier pieces of artillery out there. What do you think is more likely? There are heavier pieces of artillery out there, absolutely, right? If you've been inside our gallery by our siege theater, you saw some of the heavier variety, right? You actually saw a larger blue carriage inside there by our siege theater. That was a 24-pound siege gun that fired something like this, a 24-pound iron projectile, right? That weapon weighed in at close to 5,000 pounds, whereas my light battalion gun weighs in at roughly 1,400 pounds. So yes, by comparison, this is light enough to be considered a field gun, meaning it is mobile. It's going to be moving quite rapidly out on those battlefields. I mean, that's why I call it a light weapon. Now, I also said this is a light 6-pounder. We've already established how much the weapon itself weighs, so what about this weapon weighs in at roughly 6 pounds, would you imagine? That would possibly be the cannonball itself. Like I said, I called that 24-pound siege gun a 24-pounder because it fired a 24-pound iron projectile. This weapon here fires a light 6-pound iron projectile, something like this. Right? Now, be honest with me, folks. When I say the word cannonball, this probably isn't what you think. No. So it is rather small, right? So the reason you're going to fire a smaller projectile for a lighter gun is because, as the title suggests, this is a battalion weapon. A battalion is a unit or an organization of infantry soldiers out on that battlefield. That means this weapon is attached to that battalion, and it's moving alongside those infantry soldiers while they're fighting the other enemy's infantry. Right, it's going wherever they go, and it's typically firing at the same target that those soldiers are firing at. Right? This 24-pounder right next to it, like I said, this is a siege piece of artillery. But during a siege, it's a little bit different. You see, on that battlefield, it is going to be units of infantry against other units of infantry. During a siege, it's where either side is going to build up these massive earthen walls, similar to the ones you see bordering our museum by that parking lot. And those walls are specifically designed to slow down small caliber musket shot as well as small caliber battalion shot like this. Right, so if you're going up against siege earthworks, you're going to need something quite bigger, like a 24-pounder like this, or possibly an 18-pounder. Those were present during the siege of Yorktown here as well. right? But a smaller projectile, folks, it is going to be reserved typically for a smaller target, and that would be other infantry soldiers on that battlefield. So considering this isn't going to be aimed at another cannon, it's not going to be aimed at a piece of earthwork, it's going to be aimed at a person. Now, how big is it? To the infantry soldier it hits, I don't think it matters. So this is a cast iron ball. It's going to be soaring through the air. It's going to go skipping across that battlefield, and you're going to feel it, trust me. So no matter what, that is going to have some damage out on that field. Now, I also said that that battalion weapon is a gun. I know that last portion of the title may seem pretty self-explanatory, right? Because we even call our small arms nowadays guns. But that had a very specific definition. It also helps us to expel a myth that is usually associated with 18th century artillery, and that would be the effect that that cannonball is going to have on an enemy soldier. You've seen a movie in any time period, folks, depicting artillery. You see a cannon go off, you see that cannonball land and hit its target, and then what does it do? Normally it explodes, right? Would you all like to see the explosive power of 6-pound iron projectile set? Yeah, you would. All right, everybody, go ahead and cover up ears. This is pretty dramatic here. All right, you ready? 1, 2. That's it. That's all it's going to do, folks. Like I said, it is a round iron shot, right? It's not going to break apart. It is not going to explode, right? If you listened to Colt's musket demonstration prior to this one, he informed you exactly how victory is defined on an 18th century battlefield. He told you that it's not necessarily defined by casualty count, right? You are not there on that battlefield to harm every single soldier that you see. Really what you're looking to control is the battlefield directly beneath his feet. So what's going to happen here is this cannon crew and I, we're going to load this weapon up and we're going to point it either directly or indirectly at a group of enemy infantry. And this thing could go skipping across that battlefield. It could go up and over onto the enemy. Depends on how that barrel was angled. But either way, this cannonball is going to go. It's going to go hit and grab directly in front of you, ma'am. How you feeling about that? Well, yes, probably not so good, right? I'll be honest with you. You probably didn't use it. Right, so probably just happened so quick, right? But it's going to go all the way through that front rank of infantry, and it's going to go skipping and probably hit you in the brown shirt. Sorry about that. Right, so, but I'm being very random here because that's exactly what this cannonball was like. Every time this cannon goes off, it's like the artillerists were rolling the dice. Like, they don't exactly know where that round shot's going to go. They just know it's going to go in that direction. Yeah, so it's going to hit it through those enemy soldiers, right? And as Colt also told you, those linear formations out on that battlefield, that was your organizational structure. If you're in the infantry, that's the way you're going to keep those soldiers together so they can march, move, and shoot together. Right? So if I just put a hole in your organization, I think that puts a dent in your operation, doesn't it? So if there is a giant gap in your line right about here, what do all of you on this side, everybody on this side of that line, what do you have to do now? You're going to have to stop what you're doing. You're going to have to fill in that gap, right? Now, as you start to do that, another round shot is going to come, and it's going to go barreling through the ranks over here. Same thing happens, right? So sorry about that. You're going to have to stop what you're doing to fill in that gap. Now, let's talk to those of you in the middle here. You didn't get hit by that shot. You didn't get hit by that shot. But you saw what happened on either side. How's your day going, bro? It's probably not going too great right about now. After a while, this is going to happen again and again and again. What do you want to do? You want to leave. Well, guess what we want you to do? We want you to leave. So that's the conflict right there. That's not victory is defined. So if anything, the artillery is acting almost like a force multiplier out on that battlefield. Right? It's going to do what the infantry's trying to do, except they're going to put a bit more punches to it. Right? So it's going to cause even bigger gaps in those infantry lines. Eventually, the enemy will run. And I mean, eventually, seriously, folks, they will run, and they're not going to have a choice in the matter. Because if you've been listening to one of our musket demonstrations this afternoon, you know the effective range of a soldier's musket is about how many yards, how far? It's about 100 yards, right? The effective range of one of these fixed rounds I have right here. This is going to contain roughly a pound to a pound and a half of black powder. Tied at the end of it, the wooden Simone is going to be that 6-pound round shot. This is going to have an effective range of 1,000 yards. So at almost a mile away, that cannon crew and I, we could reach out, we could hit you guys all day long. Could you even see where this is coming from? Yeah, probably not amidst all that gun smoke. Right? So still think about the psychological impact that's going to have on those soldiers. Right? Now, even if those enemy soldiers do happen to close in those gaps and they start to come forward up that battlefield, still, they're not out of the fight. See, this artillery crew, they understand it's going to take a bit for them to actually get this weapon out of the way. Like, typically for a weapon like this, it took the crew 15 specialists and a couple horses just to get the weapon into position. 10 of those crew members were known as matrosses. Their sole job is to actually pick this run. Clearly, you haven't done that yet. So what they're going to have to do now is kill. This right here, I'm holding in my hand, is a case or canister guy. And if I actually were to shrink this down, put it inside a modern small arm, you would call this a shotgun. Loaded inside that tin can is going to be conducted with a small caliber iron shot. Right? It's going to have the same effect as a modern day shotgun. These iron rounds are going to go spreading out, covering more ground, and as they cover more ground, they're going to hit more targets. Right? So as opposed to 2 or 3 soldiers, like I just described now, possibly everybody in that front rank is probably going to go down all at once. That does raise a very valid question. If this takes out the entire rank of soldiers, that round shot takes out only 2 or 3. Why wouldn't you just start with this tin can? Somebody said range. Absolutely. Like I said, the range of that iron shot is going to be roughly 1,000 yards. The effective range of that tin can right over there is going to be about 300 to 400 yards. It has the same limitations as modern day shotgun. That's going to be reserved for a close range and a last resort. Again, you have to remember what their goal is. They're not there to hurt every single soldier. They want the enemy to run. And if they don't, well, then okay, now we're going to have to do something else, right? They're all going to say that it's last resort before they finally pick this weapon up and move it to a different location on that battlefield and continue firing that round shot. Right? Whether it was firing that round shot, whether it was firing case or canister, or whether it was just moving this thing back and forth again and again and again, it did take a lot of training. Training that I would like to demonstrate some of you. Like I said, it took a crew of about 15 specialists to maneuver with a weapon like this, but for now, I think I just need 5 of them. You're going to go ahead and use this cheat sheet. When you're ready, you're going to get these gunners. Now, folks, whether it is 1775 or 2025, there is a time-limited command to get a soldier's attention. What might that be? Attention. Exactly. Remember, they are gunners. And it's full. That as loud as you want. They can hear you. Attention! All right, they're going to snap to at attention, waiting for the instructions. Go ahead, walk in line there, Captain. Make sure they look up to your stand. What do you think, Captain? Good? All right, this is our first day anyway. Okay, so let's look with this second command. Man the piece! At the command to man the piece, our gunners are going to do a quick right about face, and they're going to turn toward that weapon. They're going to go toward their respective positions on the weapon, but they're not going to step into it quite yet. Like what I'm showing you right now, folks, this is the full manual exercise of one of these Italian weapons. Right? Because they're in position, or I think they're in position. All right, let's look at that third command right there.
Right to left dress.
From right to left dress, they're going to simply do a lateral step in towards the weapon. And we're going to actually instruction that they just fired this thing. If they did just fire the weapon, there could be some problem. Because you remember, this next round that I was mentioning before, right? That next round, when the bag is headed to it, that bag can still be inside the barrel. There could be some burning embers still inside that barrel, so we don't want to put more gunpowder on top of all that. Right? The first command in this exercise, after they get to position, is going to be
Search piece.
the command to search piece. That blue wad hook right there is going to be plunged down the barrel, and that leaded bag I was talking about is going to be pulled all the way out of the weapon. Right? Now that that is done, we're going to go ahead and assume his position back on the gun. And now we're going to make sure that those burning embers are taken care of with this next command.
Advanced sponge.
That sponge right there, that Q-tip looking device, which is dumped in a bucket of water, it's going to be advanced down the barrel, but it's not going to be pushed all the way down quite yet. The reason being is there is a small vent right at the end of this gun tube, right about here, right? So what he's going to do in a minute, he's going to plug that vent up, because if he pushes air on top of that vent, what's going to go spraying out of that thing on our gun? Gunpowder and sparks and fire and everything else, right? So this next command is very important, so when you're ready.
Handle cartridge.
All right, not yet. There you go.
10 vent.
10 vent, we're going to make sure that vent is covered up nice and tight. Okay, now that it is, we can finish up our job with
Sponge piece.
sponge piece. Now we can douse out those flames. All right, now this next command is also very important. You notice we've had a gunner sitting right here, not on the weapon, but he has a very important function to perform. That box he's sitting on is all the ammunition necessary to actually get this weapon loaded up. Somebody is going to have the task on an artillery crew to run a piece of cast iron to and from this weapon all day long while they're firing. All right, so are you ready, sir? Okay, put him to work.
Handle cartridge.
All right, command to handle cartridge is given. He's going to run like the wind all the way up to our runner, or up to our loader, excuse me. He's going to go ahead and run like the wind all the way back. Right there. All right, very good. Now, what they'd actually be running with, folks, like I said, is going to be that fixed round. He's going to go ahead and get a feel for that fixed round right now. Let's see if he can carry that thing. Uh-oh. Yeah, so somebody's going to have to sprint with that, folks, and that's just a light battalion gun. Somebody in the time period would have also had to sprint back and forth with this 24-pounder as well. Now, if you're on a ship, you're talking about a 32-pounder, a 42-pounder. It just gets heavier from here, right? So you're going to have to be pretty strong to be in the artillery. Now that we have that ammo, we're good.
Charge base.
And a charge piece is given. Now, immediately after that, that's the man right there.
Ram down cartridge.
All right, we're going to go ahead and flip that sponge over. We're going to use it like a ramrod, like you've seen with the Musket today. We're going to tap that ammunition down so it's seated directly underneath that fence. Now what we're going to have to do is make sure the weapon will actually fire. That fixed charge, there's nothing, there's no hole, there's no perforation in it. Right, so what somebody's going to have to do now is poke a hole through that bag and build a fuse. Sure.
Prime.
That is what the command prime is implying, right? You're going to see he's going to take his thumb off of that vent. He's going to take a brass pick with his left hand. He's going to puncture a hole through that vent and into that bag of gunpowder, exposing it on the inside. Right after that, you may also notice he has a powder horn on his person. He's going to use loose gunpowder to build that fuse until gunpowder spills over the top. Now you can do that, or you can also use what we use at the museum and what the artillerists would have used during the Siege of Yorktown, the safe prefixed quill, or a priming tube. Something like that has powder glued on the inside. Might have made it a bit quicker. Now that we have built that fuse, it's the part of your job has to remain.
Take aim.
And to take aim means you have to be good at that. Are you good at that? Yes? Didn't seem too confident there. All right, come on over here. All right, so what I need you to do, stand right here in front of that transom right there. Look down that brass gun tube. Sir, are we going to hit some British trees off in the distance this afternoon?
Yes.
Remember, it's 1781. They're all England. We hit something, we're good. All right. So, but it looks like we're going to hit something, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead and take a step back here so everybody can see. If he needed to adjust anything on this weapon, folks, there's actually two things he could do. Him and I could go ahead and pick this weapon up by the trail and move it left to right, or we could go ahead and adjust the elevation of the barrel by using the screw that's right here underneath, too. Right, but either way, you're going to do all those calculations. Looks like we're set. What I need you to do now, hand me your cheat sheet. I think you got that last step memorized, right?
Yep.
Yeah, all right. So what I need you to do now is make eye contact with this last gun in the yellow shirt there. Hold your hand up in the air as high as it'll go. Go ahead and look at that last gunner. When you're ready, shout out that last command. You're going to lower your hand right at your side. Go ahead.
Fire.
You're going to hear very loud. Now, folks, as complicated as that was, each and every step that you just saw should take place in the span of 30 seconds flat. That is the expectation placed on one of these battalions. Right, and for their first day, I think they did an excellent job. How about it? What you're about to hear is a bit louder. Right, so we're going to go through that same step-by-step process as quickly as we can. And we're hopefully going to meet that part. You might also know, like you noticed, my crew and I, we're doing something that the 18th century crew did not enjoy.
I'm scared. I'm not going to
Turn that thing down, we'll take it out. We're going to do this just like that.
Evan, turn around. Leave it alone.
Cover up your ears by any minute.
Yeah, I'm going to a phone first. Who's there?
Charge, please! Clear! Follow! Make ready! Now's the time to cover up. Fire!
Wow.
So they shot something down there for you?
No.
It made me cold.
That was loud there. And I covered my ears too, but I saw the fire and I saw it.
It was just fire and smoke, nothing in there.
Are they gonna do it again?
Maybe.
No, please, no,
It's so cool.
Case is secure. Got it? Dismiss.
So those little tool things, you can heat it up. I mean, there's the different tools, some of the kinds of foods they would have had, like beans and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Don't zoom that way and then go home. Alright, then stop.
That was loud, Dad. It was loud like candy. The most loud thing is really like, hey, the most loud thing is silent. Yeah. Like, if there's two tornadoes or tsunamis, just go like that. Crazy, huh? That is so loud. Fire! 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 Are we going back now?
Go that way and then go home. I'm not done yet.
There's chickens? What? Chicken banana piece in the middle. Chickens.
Not too loud, okay? Hello there, afternoon.
This is a farm life out here. If you lived here in this house, you have a really nice house, and you have glass in the windows, and you have a brick fireplace, and you're standing on wood, and there's plenty of room.
What about Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi.
I don't think so. Why don't you try one of the games in that basket instead of playing with your thumbs?
I guess there's no Wi-Fi, Brayden. Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't mind living in a house like this.
I miss running water, but otherwise it's pretty
Yeah.
much okay. Of course, if I had these guys, I'd have running water. I could be hauling it in.
Okay, come on. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Might not have all day to just kind of
Hello.
sit in here. So yeah, you're gonna cook for the whole day pretty early.
kitchen.
It's not just gonna be young girls that are helping out in this kitchen, but boys as well until they are about 10 or 11. They're going to be doing whatever mom is doing, learning all those basic life skills. Now y'all can see that we are not just cooking in here, but we're also preserving food by drying, salting, smoking. They have pickling. They don't have like true canning yet. Do jams, jellies, all those types of things. So, you know, they're pretty creative with what they're able to do.
Let's go check out this one. There's a lady here.
Hello, ma'am.
How are you?
Hello.
How are y'all doing today?
Good.
Good, welcome. Have any questions so far?
No, ma'am. What is your role here?
Well, not necessarily my role, but this is our tool shed
Okay.
over here. Looks like you have a question. What's your question?
He just wants to walk around.
Gotcha. We got a lot to see, don't
Yeah.
And I want to go home to play
we? Roblox. Minecraft.
I don't know. Bro, I love Roblox so much. I want to download it.
This is the house for the enslaved people over here, and
Oh.
then behind that we have our tobacco house.
Ooh, this is fancy. It's fancy, but it's kind of old. I think this is a village, Dad. This is a village, guys. It's a village. It's a village. Village in real life. Oh, wait, I don't think they have a blacksmith. Why did no brick. Yeah. Only wood because it's a village. Oh my god, look at this spacious, pretty house. I feel like I want to. Oh, this is
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. Oh my god. Yo. You have that? What is that?
Mm.
Where are we going, Dad? To the house?
Back to the front.
I want to go to the house. Mom? Dad, can we get a drink?
We have a drink.
What's that? Do you remember I drink it all? Do you remember? Still have the water in the back of the Hey, that's mine! Oh!
Hello, afternoon.
I see how far. You see how far?